Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 20. Today, we're going to be playing the final game before the All-Star break against the Reds, and then going over the Futures Game, Home Run Derby, and the All-Star Game itself, and then going to simulate up to the trade deadline. So a lot of things to go over, but first, obviously these rosters are not the best, and a lot of the Pirates' top prospects were left off. Not the top of the top, like the main prospects, Mitch Keller, Brian Hayes, O'Neal Cruz, they're all there. However, a lot of the other guys below them were not there, so I decided to find the fake players on this roster. I did some research, determined who on this team is fake, and edited them into real players. I didn't edit all the fake guys. I think there are a couple left, but for the most part, I did get rid of the fictitious players. So the first one we would do is a starting pitcher from the Double-A Altoona Curve, Sam Deerdorf. He is one of the fictitious players, and he will now be edited into Quinn Priester. Priester was the Pirates' first-round pick in the 2019 draft. He is the number 4 prospect in the organization. He actually does have some cool hair. It doesn't show in that picture. That picture probably wasn't the best one to pick, but you get the point. And I guess, in a way, this does help the team because these fictitious players mainly had C and D potential. But guys like Quinn Priester are going to be in the mid-80s. So, in a way, it does help the team out, but it also does make things more realistic and, I guess, a little bit funner as well. If you guys know these players more in depth, like if they are better at a statistic or worse at a statistic than I clearly showed, if they have a quirky pitch motion, batting stance, whatever, let me know because I do not know these people super well. Also, I know it doesn't really look a lot like them. I didn't really take that much time on the facial features. I did the best I could do. Next up is closing pitcher Rob Wallace. He will turn into Brennan Malone. Malone was one of the 2 players acquired in the Starling Marte trade this past offseason with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Malone was a compensatory first-round pick in the 2019 draft, so he was also just recently picked, of course, not by the Pirates, but by Arizona in that deal. For both Priester and Malone, I did get their pitches accurate. These are the pitches that they do have, but obviously it doesn't look perfectly like him, and then the stats aren't perfect because I don't know him super well. I did about 5 minutes of research looking at their stats and tried to base it off that. Also, I did upgrade Quinn Priester's fielding a little bit, so he actually is a 61, not a 59. The last player we're going to be editing is Justin Conrad, an outfielder. Chet Escobar is one of those other fake players who I have not edited yet, but if there are prospects you'd like to see me make, I will get around to it. The player we made is Leover Peguero, a shortstop from the Dominican Republic. He was the other player in the Starling Marte trade with the Diamondbacks, so it's good to have both of those players on the team. I just looked at his numbers and tried to figure out how we would work with that statistically. I couldn't find a lot of information on him. I literally could not find a picture of him where it shows a jersey number, so I just went with 33 because it's cool, and Kerryon Johnson wears 33. Anyway, here we go. Final game before the All-Star break. The Pirates in last place in the NL Central are going to be taking on the Cincinnati Reds, who are in first place of the division, so quite the contrast there. As here's a look at both lineups for this game. 1-9 on the mound for Cincinnati would be their ace, Luis Castillo, 9-4, 2.76 ERA for him. He's had quite a good season. Back in the Pirates home opener, they did play Luis Castillo, and Luis did struggle in that game, so I guess that's something to keep an eye on. As the first batter of the game, Brian Reynolds will rip a double into left center field. Couple batters later, here's Josh. Ring that bell, ride him pony, and round the bases, rock star. As Bell with his 25th home run of the season. You'll be seeing him in the All-Star game and maybe something else shortly beforehand. And then the next batter, Gregory Polanco, deep into right. Bell and Polanco go back-to-back. And let me blow your mind real quick. That ball went 496 feet. Holy smokes. But we're not done quite yet. Here is Kevin Newman. Schoppenkamp into right center field for a double. And this has been a disaster of a start for Luis Castillo. Inning would finally end as Jose Osuna will fly out to right, but still, Pirates bats are on early. Let's go to the bottom of the first. It'll be Chris Archer on the mound for Pittsburgh, 7-10, 4.61 ERA. He's been about average to a little bit below average as Shogo Akiyama will strike out. The Japanese rookie has been putting up MVP-like numbers, though. Let's go to the next batter, Jesse Winker, known as a contact hitter, but every once in a while, he'll give you that wink of power. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. And the Reds are not done yet. Here is Mike Moustakas going deep into right, and as there was a runner on first, this game is tied up, 461 feet. I think we got ourselves a home run derby preview, ladies and gentlemen. Both pitchers got to get themselves on a groove, and Luis Castillo might be doing that as he strikes out Reynolds. But I don't think the same can quite be said for Chris Archer, as with the bases loaded and 2 outs, Reds are going to get 2 across. They won't get a third, as Stallings will apply the tag, ending the inning. But still, Cincinnati drives 2 home. Let's go to the third, Gregory Polanco. He's going to get a double scoring a run. What a day for Gregory Polanco. More on him shortly. But speaking of guys who had great performances in this one, how about we look at the Moose? Mike Moustakas with his second home run of the day for Cincinnati. And they are going to double the lead. It is now 6-4. That ball went 464 feet. He's launching meteors out here into space. And then a couple batters later, Aristides Aquino goes deep, Oppo Papo into right, as it's now 7-4. That would end Chris Archer's day. He was a mess. Robbie Erlin, the long reliever, in for Pittsburgh. He's had a great season, but he would not have a great start to this game, as the Reds going to extend their lead even more. That double will score a run. They now lead it 8-4. Remember when it was 3-0 in the top of the first? What has happened since then? Inning will end with a Shogo Akiyama strikeout. Let's go to the fourth. Here's Jacob Stallings up. Nice play at second for the out, as Luis Castillo really starting to pitch better. There's Mike Moustakas. He's just a window shopper because he's just looking. On to the fifth now. Brian Reynolds with the light bat toss, if you will, his 14th home run of the season. And the Pirates will make it a 3-run game. Josh Bell trying to follow suit. He will not. But you know who would follow suit? The next batter, Gregory Polanco. Going deep into right, his second home run of the afternoon, 21st of the season. This ball goes 100 feet less than his first home run, but it still crosses the fence, which is all that matters. On to the bottom of the fifth, 6-4-3 double play from the Pirates infield. Their defense is more chemistry than a science project. Let's move to the sixth now. Here is Jose Osuna. He's going to go deep in the left. By the way, there was a pitching change. Jose De Leon in for Cincinnati. I didn't get the graphic, but whatever. De Leon, a former top pitching prospect for the Rays. Not looking good there. As here is Wellington Castillo. That ball goes higher than J.R. Smith during Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Would be caught out in center as we move to the bottom of the sixth. Dovydas Neverauskas in for the Pirates. He's had a pretty solid start to the season, 4.05 ERA, but a whip nearly below 1. And his first inning would be successful as Colin Moran catches the flyout. Let's move to the top of the seventh. 2 is not a lot, but 3's a crowd. Gregory Polanco with the hat trick, his third home run of the day, 100th career home run, and the Pirates will tie the game up at 8. What a performance from Gregory Polanco. That would end the day for Jose De Leon. Robert Stevenson now in for the Reds, 2.39 ERA. That's a pretty good number, and he would do well in the top of the seventh, as there is Aquino and Galvis striking out. Good set of innings from Dovydas Neverauskas. On to the eighth, there's Logan Hill striking out. Good few innings from Stevenson as we move to the bottom of the eighth. Emmanuel Clase on the mound. He will start the inning off with a strikeout. But with one gone now, here is the veteran, Joey Votto, pinch hitting for the pitcher's spot, and the old man still has it. The Canadian goes deep into straightaway center field. Inning does end as Shogo Akiyama strikes out once again. He's hit like 350 this season, but today was not his day, I guess. Here's Matt Bowman now on for the save. His first batter, Adam Frazier, will get hit by the pitch. Gregory Polanco, a couple batters later, will strike out. Of all the at-bats not to get a base hit, Polanco chose for round one. 2 gone now for Kevin Newman. High fly ball into center. Would be caught as the Reds get the win. High-scoring game. They win it by a score of 9-8, and the Pirates will finish out the first half of the season with a record of 35-61. Not pretty, but hey, there's a lot of work to do. The bats were very good for Pittsburgh. Home runs for Reynolds, Bill, Osuna, and then, of course, 3 for Gregory Polanco. Chris Archer did not pitch well, but it's actually going to be Emmanuel Clase who gets the loss. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, every single one of their position players, other than Nick Castellanos, got base hits. Home runs for Jesse Winker, Joey Votto, Aristides Aquino, and then Mike Moustakas, who had 2. So that's a total of 11 home runs for both teams. Castillo did not pitch well. De Leon gets a blown save. I don't know why. If someone knows why he got a blown save, please explain that to me. And then Matt Bowman does get the save. So here we are. First half of the season is now in the books. I think it's a good idea to look at the numbers for the guys. Brian Reynolds doing his thing. Josh Bell as well. Gregory Polanco's numbers are looking good. And, I mean, he is almost at his career mark for home runs at 23. He's currently at 22. And then the rest of the crew, Frazier, Newman, Moran, Osuna, they're all doing solid. Jacob Stallings is the only regular starter hitting under 250. I'm not including Cole Tucker in that, by the way. As looking at the starters, Archer below average, Keller not doing great, Holland not doing great, but Joe Musgrove and Trevor Williams are pitching well. And then looking at the bullpen, Neverauskas is doing good, Rodriguez is doing good, Vizcaino is doing good. Same can't really be said for Feliz and Clase. As we look at the Futures game, looking at not the present of Major League Baseball, but the future. And I do want to take a look at these rosters. We will be player locking in this one. As here's a look at the AL squad. Got a few guys there headlined by players such as Wander Franco from the Tampa Bay Rays organization. And then here's a look at the NL lineup. There's Dylan Carlson, the only player from our organization in this game. We will be player locking him. He's out of energy, though, because there was a AAA game on this same day. I don't know how that's possible, but whatever. In our make-believe world, we can pretend such fictitious things are real. So here we go. Dodger Stadium is the location for the AL and NL 2020 Futures game, headlining some of the future superstars at the Major League level. Of course, we will be highlighting Dylan Carlson. His first at-bat of the game will be a strikeout, so not necessarily ideal. Gotta play defense. This is like road to the show out here. Tristan Casas up at the dish, part of a Red Sox organization. He's gonna fly out. Carlson makes the play as we go to his second at bat. That ball is hit high and somewhat deep and right. It would be caught. Carlson now 0 for 2. On to the sixth inning. Xavier Edwards of the Tampa Bay Rays organization. He's going to get that one right over to Carlson, who does make the play. Let's now move over to his third at-bat. In the bottom of the sixth, Casey Mize on the mound as that ball is a fly out into right. That would end up being Carlson's final at-bat. He goes 0 for 3 with a strikeout and 2 flyouts. He does get another defensive opportunity. Yanni Fernandez up. He's going to fly out to right. So after that, we would simulate the rest of the game as Dylan Carlson was pinch hit for Hunter Bishop. His former teammate with the Cardinals was the guy who pinch hit for him, funny enough, as the National League team does get the win, so that's fun. Now on to the home run derby. Josh Bell will be participating. Usually, I struggle with home run derbies very badly. Last year, and it will be 19, Season 2 of the Diamondbacks franchise, we had Mike Moustakas in the derby. It went really bad. So we're going to hope this one goes a little bit better. Josh Bell in the first round will be facing off against the 2 seed, Gleyber Torres, the second baseman of the New York Yankees. Here's a look at all the participants, as here's Bell. His first go at it and potentially only go at it if he loses. Bell participated in the home run derby last year in Cleveland, as there's his first home run. He needs 2 440-plus home runs to get the bonus time, and he already has one quickly. Bell now with 2. Got to get onto a groove. That's the big thing with home run derbies. That ball went 460 feet, his third of the day, and he's starting to catch fire. 4 in a row. Why not make it 5 in a row? That one does go deep enough. Seems like all of his home runs are at least like 430 feet. I mean, he's launching absolute bombs. Notice that Bell does have a right-handed pitcher. This is significant because he is a switch hitter, and he does perform better against righties, so that is something to take note of. Bell now with 7, about 2.5 to go. That one will go foul. He's starting to get a little bit tired, but I'd say it's a little bit too early to call the timeout now. That ball goes 410. That's his 8th. This one goes into straightaway center, and it does have the distance. 433. Bell starting to catch fire again. He's now in the double digits. Trying to go oppo-popo here, not quite. As we've hit the halfway mark of the first set. And I say first set, that doesn't include the bonus time of 30 seconds, which Bell has already unlocked. The energy is getting to the red. He is starting to get a little bit tired, and you can tell by his swings. Feeling a little bit more sluggish. Some of these balls that would go out of the seats are not quite able to, and at this point, Josh Bell with 11 home runs will call a timeout. About 120 to go. That's a good start after the break as he gets that 410-foot bomb into right center. That ball nearly in the exact same spot, just like 26 feet shallower. And he is starting to get on a groove again. He's currently at 14. Let's make it 15. This is a hard number for Gleyber Torres to catch up to, and Bell has about another minute of work left to go. So he can extend that number even more, currently at number 16. Let's make it 17, why don't we? As Bell is continuing to cruise. I believe he was the 6th seed last year in the Derby, now, of course, as the 7th seed. As he has 19 home runs as we have officially hit bonus time. Let's see what he can do in these last few seconds at 20. Can he get a few more before the buzzer sounds? That ball is not quite deep enough. Likely his last pitch of the round. Can he beat the buzzer? He sure does. 21 home runs in the first round for Josh Bell. That's a number that's going to be really hard to beat. Shaking hands with his pitcher, whoever that may be. Gleyber Torres now up at the dish. He would not beat the mark. He only gets 14. So now let's sim to the second round. Yelich and Encarnacion will face off. Edwin Encarnacion gets the win. And Bell will be facing off against the 6th seed, Pete Alonso. Polar Bear Pete won the home run derby last year. So now it's time for Josh Bell to unseat the champion. His first one goes deep into center, 434 feet. Remember, you only need 2 that hit the 440 mark for that bonus time. His second home run also goes 434 feet. That's a wild coincidence. Currently 3 for 3 so far. Make that 4 for 4. He is cruising. Quite the start for Josh Bell. All of his pitches have been home runs up to this point. He's actually swung at every single pitch. I find that rather interesting. He's not looked at a single pitch in either round up to this point. That one is going to be number 7. He is on an absolute tear right now. It's going to be hard for Pete Alonso to stop him. There is number 8, if it's deep enough, not quite. And now he's starting to slow down a little bit. It was really hot to start. Now is playing a lot worse. Can this one get over the fence? Yes, it does. 450 feet. He has earned the 30-second bonus time once again. And the interesting thing with Bell here is, as the 7 seed, he's one of the lower seeds in the tournament. And the lower seeds get to go before the higher seeds. So this sort of takes some pressure off of Bell because he doesn't know how much home runs that his competition faces. It is also good for those higher seeds just so they have a baseline of what they're going to need to beat. As Bell does call a timeout right there. His teammates Wilson Contreras and friends going to help him out. Bell currently at 13. Let's make that 14. About a minute and a half left to go. That one is going to be 15, and now he will start to get hot a little bit once again. There is number 16. He is cruising. That ball does go foul and takes a lot of time off. So now under a minute to go. Bell at 16. That's also a pretty good number. And remember, he still has that bonus time left to go. Now at 17. Why not make it 18? That was a curveball. Bell absolutely crushed it. And any of those hanging pitches, you just have to take note of them, and you have to take the opportunity to go yard whenever you get them. 10 seconds to go now. Will Bell get another pitch? Yes, he will for 21. Yes, barely. And now he does have the 30 seconds of bonus time. That one is barely fair once again at 22. His mark in the first round was 21, so he's already broken his own total. Can he get 25 before the round is over? He sure will. 25 home runs for Josh Bell. I don't think Pete Alonso is going to be able to beat that. Certainly a possibility. He did beat Vlad Guerrero Jr. in the championship last year, but he is not able to get by Bell. And we move to the finals. Josh Bell versus Edwin Encarnacion. Bell wants to start off hot. His first one, no good. His second one, 430 feet. As something to note, in the first two rounds, Bell got hot early. That one is 419. A little bit slower of a start right now for Bell than the first two rounds, so you may want to watch out for that. That one does go 400, his third, and it seems like he's really inconsistent. Once he hits a home run, he goes foul. Home run, foul. That's what it's been so far this round. That one is number 4. Once you get on a groove, you can really get things going. There he goes, 419 feet. Has not gotten anything over 440 up to this point, so he has not unlocked the bonus time, and he needs 2 home runs of at least 440 to get that bonus. That one, 429, not quite his 7th. That one is going to be 415. Once again, a little bit shallow. As you can tell, I think a lot of it is because he's starting to run out of energy. 2 hard-fought rounds of the full-time plus bonus. I think Bell really might have put too much emphasis on those first 2 rounds, and because of that, he is getting a little bit tired. Probably a good idea to call a timeout soon. Has not hit anything over 440 yet in this round. Currently at 10, gonna make it 11, and at that point, Bell will use his TO. Actually, he's only at 10, my bad. I thought that last one went yard. It did not. So Bell currently still sitting at 10. That one into straightaway center. There you go, 443 feet. That's number 1. And now he just needs one more within the next minute, or one more of 440 plus. And there you go, that'll do it. Josh Bell will be getting that bonus time. That one goes 460. That's tied for his highest mark of the day. He got 460 back in the first round and gets that one there. That one will be 438, and he's starting to get hot a little bit. Currently at 14, not doing as well as either of the first 2 rounds. But still, 15 is a good number with 30 seconds to go. Can he beat the buzzer? That one's going to be close, and he does not. Now into the bonus time. Josh Bell's final 30 seconds of the home run derby, unless we get overtime, which I suppose is possible, as he is really tired, pretty much out of energy, and he can call a timeout, and he will. He has one more pitch, and he wants to make the most of it. 5 seconds left. He's going to call his shot, and that's how Josh Bell's home run derby will end. So now it's time for Edwin Encarnacion of the Chicago White Sox. I can't really speed this up, so I'm going to decide not to watch it. And drum roll, please, he only hits 8. So that means Josh Bell is your 2020 Home Run Derby champion, making the Pittsburgh fans proud. Congratulations to you, Mr. Bell. Bell hit 63 home runs total, which is the second most for a single derby in history, just behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. last year, who hit 91. So here's a look at the All-Star rosters. The Pirates only had one. You can guess who that would be. Josh Bell. He's going to be the starter at first base, and we will be player locking him. A few guys like Musgrove, Polanco, Reynolds, I assume were close, but were unable to get the mark. And then here's a look at the AL roster. The starting pitchers for both teams were Madison Bumgarner for the NL, kind of awkward in Dodger Stadium, and then Garrett Cole for the American League. Look at Max Kepler's numbers. Those are something. Anyway, here we go. 2020 Major League All-Star Game. the American League going to take on the National League here in the Summer Classic. I don't think they call it that, but whatever. We'll just go with it. Here's Josh Bell's first at bat with a runner on second. Weak fly out to the catcher. AL already up 5-1, by the way. And yes, defense, road to the show style. 2 outs, 2 runners on. American League now up 6-1 as Bell gonna throw that one to second to end the top of the inning. As let's go to Josh Bell's next at bat. That would be in the 4th inning. He's gonna hit righty now with the lefty Hyunjin Ryu on the mound, and he's gonna fly out to right. That one would be caught. Let's move on to his next at bat in the 6th inning. And Josh Bell, sorry I didn't get the full clip, but Bell hits the home run, making it 6-2. There you go, Zach Greinke on the mound, the former Dodger, and Bell would eventually be pinch hit. Eugenio Suarez would enter the game as the American League does win 10-3. The player of the game would end up being Franmil Reyes of the Cleveland Indians, who went 2 for 2 with a home run and a pair of RBIs. Josh Bell finishes 1 for 3 with a solo shot in the 6th inning. Garrett Cole gets the win, Bumgarner with the loss. So now it's time to look at the AAA and AA All-Star games. We didn't play them. Both of our teams technically did win, so I guess that's fun. We had a bunch of AA All-Stars. Domingo Robles was an All-Star, Jeff Hartlib, and then Bo Susler was also an All-Star, so that's 3, and then a bunch of position players, as you'll be able to see in the infield. We had Steven Alamais, that's 4. Then 5 is the third baseman, Jesse Medrano. Adrian Valero is 6. And then we had 2 outfielders, Travis Swaggerty and Mickey Moniak. So 8 All-Stars for the AA team. That is a lot. And then the AAA team, they would only have 2. But these would be our 2 top prospects in the entire organization. At shortstop, O'Neal Cruz, the number 40 prospect in all of baseball. He actually got the start. He's with some good company. Royce Lewis and Wander Franco, both of whom are ranked ahead of him in the top 50 prospects. And then at right field, Dylan Carlson, the number 9th prospect in all of baseball. We saw him at the Futures Game. So now we're stepping into the trade deadline. Only one big trade, and it's a rather interesting one. The Phillies will be trading their ace Aaron Nola to the White Sox for Yoan Moncada. I don't know how to feel about that trade. That is really interesting. So here we are at the deadline. The record is 39-69. That's a nice loss total, first off. And then second off, I wanted to go back to my MLB The Show 19 Diamondbacks franchise to compare the records at the trade deadline for Season 1. And our record was also 39-69, which is really weird. Here is a look at the numbers after simulating a few weeks. Unfortunately, Josh Bell's average is no longer above 300, but he's still doing his thing. A few guys who we could potentially look to trade at the deadline. Obviously, we will be looking to acquire prospects, but guys like Chris Archer, who are nearing the end of their contracts, value players who we could look to trade for or trade away, maybe a guy like Adam Frazier. That one's far less likely, but if we were to get an offer for someone like him that we like, certainly something to consider. And then a guy like Gregory Polanco as well, who's played really well this season. I'm curious what his trade value would be. Looking at the awards, currently the only player in the top 3 for any is Josh Bell, who's second for MVP, and then first for first base Silver Slugger. So that's fun. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Next one will be the trade deadline, which I'm going to premiere tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And as always, have a good one. Peace out.